everybody, and welcome to episode 32 of the Fully Rendered Podcast. I am your host, Brian the Pirate, joined with my lovely co-hosts.
I am Brian the Unicorn.
Brian the Unicorn, sure. And
I'm Peachy the Unicorn.
Peachy the Unicorn. We're all
Brian the Pulp or something.
Brian the Pulp.
Shut up.
It was funny yesterday.
Maybe we're all unicorns today.
Yesterday, whilst Pulp was streaming, she mentioned something about being a contrarian, so I called her Peach fictionally.
That's why you called me that. I was wondering why you called me that.
Yeah, no, that was why. But hello,
I don't
everyone.
even know what I was talking about either.
Well, you got like not defensive, but you were like, "No, I'm Pulp," and I was just like, "You are Pulp. It's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine." But yes, today's show we are going to be covering the state of play, which was 2 days ago. My sleep pattern is somewhat shafted, which is why Pulp was able to raid me.
You've been playing a lot of Diablo lately. I've raided you while I've been streaming.
Yeah.
And I popped in, and I'm just like, my God.
5:30 in the morning, my time usually. I'm just like, hi.
I think like there was one right before I went to this radio. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just go say hi to Brian. Like, good Lord, he's been up for almost 10 hours.
Yeah. It's what I do, and then I sleep for like
fair.
6 hours during the day.
A lot of props to you, man. Like I hit 6 hours yesterday, and I was like, I'm so done. I want to die.
Yeah, I usually start flagging at about the 10-hour mark, and it's not even that I get tired, but my
10-hour mark, everyone.
But no, it's like my entertainment battery runs out.
That's a rarity for me.
Or like I don't even get tired. I could probably continue streaming for like up to 20 hours, but like I will noticeably talk less. I'll be just as focused in the game, but I'll just stop entertaining people.
I would need illicit substances in order to go for 20 hours. That's very impressive that you could go with just monsters alone, I'm sure.
Fueled by games, not even energy drinks.
Yeah.
I try to avoid energy drinks nowadays, to be honest. Yeah. But should we
Your sponsorships, hit him up. Let's go.
Yeah.
G Fuel.
No. I will never actually do any energy drink sponsors.
Irresponsible gamer flavor. Let's go.
What would it even be called?
I'll do my
banana hammock.
stuff.
Oh, I mean, it's for gamers, so they could call it.
Oh, there you go.
Sure.
I wouldn't do G Fuel. I'll do gamer subs though, but that's because I'm a big fan of the waifu cups.
That's fair.
Those are the ones Bricky does.
Peachy,
Yeah.
do you want to explain why you are a magical horned horse?
Money.
Fair.
Fair enough. If that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
British economy's fucked, so I thought, hey, let's do a fun thing, and my chat took it out of proportion, and now instead of a unicorn stream, it's a unicorn week, and it's the same week that AMD have decided to sponsor the stream. So I guess sorry again, AMD.
And that, for audio listeners, is why he's dressed as a majestic magical.
They didn't need to know, to be real with
They
you.
absolutely need to know. It's absolutely necessary. But
He likes it secretly.
how have you been doing?
He's not embarrassed. Pardon?
How have you been doing?
I've been doing good. I've been streaming Dark Souls 3. So like the past two, since the last stream, I went and played through Dark Souls 1. Well, I already beat Dark Souls 1. But I played through all the 3 Dark Souls. And I just beat Gale yesterday.
Okay.
And oh my God, so I did not realize, like, no one warned me before. Like, I always knew. I played like Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I beat Sekiro obviously recently. So I felt like it was doing a disservice to not play through Dark Souls. And I always was told that Dark Souls were like harder. Like at least, the third one. I was not prepared.
I haven't played the DLC. I would say Bloodborne was harder than Dark Souls 3, but I've not played the DLC.
Dude, I can solo Bloodborne. That was my first Souls.
Demon Souls is harder than...
Demon Souls is harder. I have to beat Demon Souls still. I'm stuck. I don't remember where I'm at, but it's one of the player boss fights. But I just did the Ring City DLC, so I beat Gale last night. I still have Midir. And we've been making it a group effort.
I was going to say, because I noticed you were going through the series, and then you'd tweeted about the DLC on Twitter, and then obviously I came into your stream yesterday, and I was like, huh, she's playing Elden Ring. What happens to the DLC, I wonder, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was Kevin.
Nah,
That was
fair.
I was about to start the stream yesterday, and Kevin was like, "I need help with the final boss on Elden Ring. Can you come in?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?"
Right,
So I went to.
Oh, it sounded like you
picked-
really twisted your arm there.
I know.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
I love Elden Ring. Like honestly, going back, like so, Dark Souls 3 has been like gameplay wise easy, like to go like like except for the lack of jump button, it's been like a lot easier. It's just so much slower in comparison to Elden Ring, and I can only honestly say like throughout this whole experience of going through all the Souls series, just like to feel like a true Souls player, Elden Ring is absolutely the most accessible of the games. Like if anybody's ever interested in playing any of these games, just go straight for Elden Ring you'll have the most enjoyable experience. There's so much more to do, and it's just the gameplay is just so much more well-rounded. Because what I've been dealing with Dark Souls 3 is it's just sometimes it's so punishing. Where like I fought the Nameless King like a few days ago, and I was just so like overwhelmed by like the area getting to him, where I went to go back and grab an item that I missed. And at one point I told my husband, I was like, I'm so glad I wasn't streaming that time, because at one point I put the controller down, got up, and I was like, I fucking hate this game. It's so awful.
I find 3 way less frustrating than 1 and 2. Because 1 and 2
really,
has
I
so
loved
much,
1.
but I mean, I'm not into Dark Souls, but 1 and 2 has so much jank involved in its difficulty, and 3 has just difficulty. Like
that's fair.
Whenever I died, I'm like, oh, I fucked up. But in Dark Souls 1 and to some extent Dark Souls 2, I'm like, the game just fucked me.
The one though, like you're right. There's a lot of jank. It's funny, when I was playing through 1 and I beat Gwyn and everything. At one point I was like, this game just like it, like, because you're so used to the newer games, and like it kind of like set my expectations so high, where it's like when you just take out Gwyn, I was like, oh, that's it. Oh, that was just real. I could just relax just out of one phase. But like also, like it just, there's so much charm in that game with the jank. That's why I think I really enjoyed my whole experience. It's like it didn't feel too difficult. Like once you kind of like understood how to get around the jank, it's kind of like going back to Mass Effect after playing Mass Effect 3. Like you have to kind of readjust your line of thinking and way of playing, because you have to accommodate the lack of like intuitive development,
right,
because it's an older game. So it's like, okay, let's work with what tools are given to me here. So like I used I think it was the old wood grain ring, I forgot what it is. It gives me the acrobatic like dodge, and I just used that and the black knife halberd, and I was just dominating at that point. Just full on naked. And that's how I was able to beat it. That's all I needed.
When you go to play Demon Souls, are you going to do the remaster, or are you going to do classic?
I only have the remaster.
Right.
I think when my husband moved and I started dating, he moved in and brought his PS3. I think he has Demon Souls for it, but I've been told it's rough.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So I think it might be safer to. Yeah, there he is. He says I do.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna stick with the remaster.
That's fair. I've yet to play it because yet to own a PlayStation 5, but I do look forward to giving it a go.
It looks beautiful.
It does.
One thing I will say is when I was playing, I was like, this is gorgeous.
100%.
But it is absolutely more difficult. I always forget about it when I've been talking about Dark Souls 3, because like I haven't gone back to beating that, and Dark Souls 3 is still so fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if it's been driving you up the wall.
There's been a few times on stream where I had to get up and walk away. I was like, I need to get up. I'm so mad. I need to get up.
That's fair. Well, we'll move on to the state of play. So I live reacted to the state of play.
Oh, good.
There's a few things that I'm excited for. I will be showing for the people watching live and on YouTube the trailers whilst we discuss it. So we'll just go through, not necessarily the order they were shown, but just the order I've written down. So first we had Astro Bot. So for those not familiar with Astro Bot was originally a game that came with the PlayStation 5 to kind of showcase the controller and like all the DualSense stuff that it can do, like the adaptive triggers and all that shenanigans. And generally, a lot of people are like, this is actually a genuinely good game, but it was essentially like a short tech demo kind of thing. And now they've made an actual like full-blown game to it. I was watching this, and despite not having played the first like tech demo, I was like, I want to play this. It's not even the sort of game I would usually play. It's a fever dream. It is an absolute fever dream. It is batshit crazy, but it looks like it's the most fun you can have in a fever dream ever. It's got very much like a, I don't know, like a Mario Odyssey vibe to it.
I was getting some Ratchet and Clank vibes from it.
Yeah, bit of Ratchet and Clank, definitely. Like that kind of like mascot
it reminds
style.
Me a little bit of a. It reminds me of like an old toy from like the mid 2000s that had, it was like a little robot.
Right. Yeah.
That had I can't remember the name of it.
Face.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
I know the one you mean. I can't think of the name.
Like one of those dogs that they were like, "This is your pet robot dog" kind of thing, and it always had that LCD.
Oh,
face
when they
and
lied
stuff.
to us and said robots, and they were just toys.
Yeah, they were just plain old toys. But it's such
it's such a charming game. How
it is.
Cute.
It does look so, like, even the stupid weird shit, like the controller is like this little airship thing, and then there's the PlayStation
that
5.
Stuff is a little bit cringe.
It did,
the
but
vibe. You kind of go. You either go all in or you don't do it at all. And they've gone all in.
Little waddle. It's
100%.
very cute.
I like the end of the trailer where they're all on like different PlayStations across the eras, but they're spaceships.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know,
like,
if you're gonna do it, go all the way. Don't be just like, oh, here's the thing.
I like the little PlayStation references too. Oh, there you go. That's what you were talking about.
yeah, 100%.
Like in Zelda, you know, the magic item you've got is a switch. That's a little bit cringe because that's it.
I didn't like that.
Just like all of it.
I actually didn't like that. But they did do that in the older Zeldas too. Like I remember Zelda 64. You had the Stone of Agony, which was just the Rumble Pack. It literally looked like the Rumble Pack.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm legit. I'm actually playing that on Switch at the moment.
Nice,
really?
nice.
I'll pull it up for you. And how are you liking it?
Yeah. No, I played it back on 64.
Okay.
What tickled me about this trailer as well is obviously it had a lot of references to PlayStation games, including Bloodborne. And of course, there's the copium that everyone's like, is it going to be a Bloodborne announcement
It's
with
never
every state
coming.
of play? And it's like, no, there's not going to be a state of play.
So they had a
that will announce it.
Kratos in there from the newer
Yes,
reboots.
correct. Yeah, they have Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a bunch of other characters, but yeah, people saw the Bloodborne one and they were like, salt in the wound kind of thing.
That is salt in the wound. Dude, Sony's just never gonna let that go. They won't remaster it. I don't know why.
They're probably waiting for a decent time.
Well,
to miss,
it's
and then
sad
they're gonna
because
do the PC thing, right?
I think so too. I think they'll eventually get to that point. It's just so sad because like it's one of those games that, man, you're sitting on this. It's so many people like they'll make so much money if they put it on PC.
Yeah, but it is better than them farming out to some mobile developer to just, hey, let's get this out.
No, I don't want them to do that. It's like just, you know what I mean.
And Miyazaki has said if they ever did anything else Bloodborne, it would probably be a sequel and it would probably be the next gen. Like he said.
To be fair, though,
recently.
they said that about Elden Ring as well, and I don't think they're gonna do that. I think the story itself is.
That is a Rumble Pack. Sorry.
It is. Yeah, no, it is. It's the Rumble Pack. It's so self-contained. Because like I feel like with Miyazaki, he doesn't want to say like flat out like no, we're not going to do this, but I'm just leaving the option open.
That's true.
Because I've seen people suggest like maybe there's gonna be a Dark Souls or Bloodborne 2. It's like I don't think so. If you play it, there's no room for a sequel.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the exact quote was literally like, "If we do it, it will be next gen."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he said something. He said the same thing about Elden Ring, where he was before the DLC. There was an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, maybe we'll keep it like." There's always an option.
Yeah, he said that this would be the only DLC, and there may be other things in the Elden Ring universe. Yeah,
but I mean, there's not. What more could you do?
yeah, it's
With regards to Astro Bot, I thought it looked cute, but
I think so.
I'm not excited because that's never coming to a platform I can play it on.
It might do because they're bringing games to PC.
That is so PlayStation coded.
Yeah, but also the DualSense controller does work on PC. They've updated the drivers to do that.
I don't see that ever coming to PC. It's too PlayStation coded.
I don't think it's going to be
It's
coming
a
to
shame
PC.
because of most of the things I've seen. I'm like that. Oh, that looked.
It looks very charming.
I mean, what will decide it is how popular it is.
I don't think I'll buy it, but if it becomes free, if it's ever free on PlayStation Plus, then yeah.
I imagine it will be free. Well, again, it depends on how popular it is. Like it probably will at some point. Yeah. That's fair.
If I had a child.
The next one is Concord. Now,
Overwatch 3, finally.
Eh?
Overwatch 3, finally.
So that's the sad thing about this. I was watching the trailer, and it was a cinematic trailer originally. This is the gameplay trailer, but the cinematic trailer is very, very well done. It's clearly done mocap. It's clearly had a lot of money dumped into it. And it had like
all the pre-rendered like animations looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it looked amazing, and I was getting like a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, kind of like MCU humor kind of thing. I was getting Fifth Element vibes, and about halfway through, my analytical brain that's aware of the industry was going, hero shooters are currently in right now. Sony are pushing live services. Oh, look, they're suddenly showcasing really unique abilities amongst themselves. Oh, fuck, this is going to be a hero shooter. And then it cut to the gameplay, and it was like, this is a 5v5. And I was like, oh, man.
That's the problem here, isn't it? Who is this for?
That's the thing. So at GDC, I've seen a number of interviews that have referenced this. Amongst not necessarily ourselves, but hero shooters are popular right now. They're in. They are the cool thing. That's what's being pitched at GDCs, things like that.
What I'm asking is, who is it for? Are they because they are aiming at the Overwatch market, and famously Overwatch 2 is being shit on?
Yes,
so it's probably trying to swoop up like the Overwatch.
Just trying to grab the Overwatch players.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. Yeah,
that's kind of a sensible thing to
Overwatch
do.
Overwatch dropped the ball. Blizzard dropped the ball. Let's try to get their fan base.
Yeah, like if you look at Marvel Rivals, which was also at the State of Play, people who played Marvel Rivals are like, oh, it reminds me of Overwatch 1. We loved Overwatch 1. And it's probably going to scoop those people up. But yeah, the biggest disappointment for me was I saw these cool characters that like had decent humor. It was well enough done. You know, the voice acting seemed really cool. And it's going to be wasted, I say. Like, I have no doubts that this will probably be a good game. Like, if you're into hero shooters or want to play another 5v5 thing.
Competent.
Yeah.
The animations of like all like the bits in between was so good. I'm watching that going, fuck me, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I wasn't even getting Uncanny Valley from it. It was like, oh.
Yeah, like it looked so good. But
yeah,
I'm just bummed that it's a hero shooter and not like, I don't know, a Borderlands kind of thing. If it was something that...
The concept for like single player or co-op multiplayer, like it feels like that vibe's closer there.
That's what I was thinking. I was hoping for like a Borderlands thing, something with a story.
When you make a video game, it's like how they used to make movies. They make the poster first.
Yeah, true.
Trailer first, and then like, okay, where can we fit this? And then suddenly you're like, hey, we don't have a hero shooter. Here is a couple of mil. Is that the angle?
I don't think it is, because usually the cinematography stuff and cinematics are done by another company. This seems to be all in-house. This is all like done with a plan, and I think they're investing a chunk of money into it.
Oh yeah, it looks expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It's just like freemium. But also you're going to be paying 60 quid for this, and then it's going to be live service, right?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be live service. I don't think they've confirmed whether or not it's going to be buy to play or free to play. It
looks pricey. I would assume probably there is a buy-in to it.
Very likely, yeah. It's going to be on PC day one, as well as PlayStation. Single player games do not come to the PC day one. Just as a little tangent, there was a developer conference, a stakeholder conference like the day before, and one of the new heads was like, oh, we're gonna delay the first-party single-player games because we want them to play PC players to play the first game of a series on PC, and then we want them to buy a PlayStation having played the first game of the series, i.e. God of War, for example, and then they'll buy a PlayStation to play Ragnarok. And it's like, no, PC players are not going to do that. They're just going to wait. Who's going to trade in their 4090 to play on a PlayStation 5? You know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to happen.
You know how many games we've got?
Yeah, it's very clear to me that Sony have no idea how PC players
we can
work.
play games from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
On current platform.
Yeah, so
we can do that.
Interesting take there, but I'm sure it'll be good. I was just
It looked
saddened.
it looked competent. It looked very, by the book hero shooter.
Very
Yeah.
much, very much.
Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like hero shooters are a very specific genre.
Yep.
And yeah, I was looking at it going, oh, they just want to grab Overwatch 2 players.
Yeah, that is pretty much what they're doing. It's something that's
People
being
who
pitched
aren't
a lot.
happy with Overwatch 2, which is a large percentage of the people,
Yeah.
100%.
are probably gonna get that. I guess it could be free to play. That would probably get the most players. But it does look so expensive that I feel like you're going to be paying a premium first.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So there's been research done, and generally free-to-play games that have like cosmetic stores and monetization after the fact do make more money because they bring more people in. But when it's got this high level of production, like you were saying, it's very likely there's going to be an upfront
suggesting
cost.
this be a high ticket price from the upfront, like so.
To get money in immediately, as it were. Like it's released.
Are we
Here's
saying $70 probably?
quite possibly. I mean, I can't really say. I mean, Sony don't do a lot of live service games up until
$49.99.
now.
That's how much that game's going to cost. I'm calling it now.
That-
$49.99 in the UK.
You're probably closer. Yeah, I wanted to say that, like, I don't know, because Sony probably 70. I wouldn't put it past them, but
Right. Do we know
it
how
would
much
be more accessible
Suicide
at
Squad
40.
was?
49. Is that
Wait,
how much?
you have to buy that?
I believe
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Oh. How much
Well,
was
also,
that?
Do
was
we
it
know?
70?
Don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I will look.
Oh,
it up.
okay.
I'll pull it up.
I mean, you can't look now because that's probably been slashed, that price.
I think it has been slashed a few times already. Yeah.
What is it?
But I imagine
is
it's
it?
probably going to be similar to that. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it was
Pulling
around
up
about
it.
the same budget.
It was 70. It is a lot cheaper now.
Yeah.
It's $28.99 on Steam
Yeah,
right now.
full price 60 quid originally.
Yeah.
Now it's 60.
So
off.
70 US. Yeah.
Oh,
So I wouldn't be
oh,
surprised if
that's
it's
not doing well.
£60, $70.
You know, this is another thing. The
Colin-
cutscenes in this game are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's great. It's even
looks nice.
written really well.
Yeah, I've heard there's moments in it that are like there's a museum scene or something, and there's another bit where Batman's hanging out, and those bits are supposed to be really good, and then the rest of it,
Every
the gameplay is
cutscene,
just like
the acting is on point. The animation was good. The writing, it was still a bit dumb because it's a superhero movie, but it wasn't stupid. You know, but I still didn't want to play the game because I don't give a shit. Like, but
Yeah, same.
But this is now 60% off. That development team will be shuttered.
Quite possibly, to be
Quite
honest.
possibly,
probably
you can
right.
win awards and get shuttered. They're fucked.
I mean,
Which is
it's Warner.
terrible.
It is-
Sorry, I'm smiling, but it's terrible.
It is Warner Bros, so it's very, very possible, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
we'll have to see. The next thing was God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. I'm very stoked about that. That'll be in August.
That's very good news.
Yes. So I'll-
So any word about the requiring a PSN account?
I believe that is going to be required. Yeah, I think
That's what I
Sony
had a
are
feeling.
pushing for that on their future games.
They want people on their account, on their service, man.
Yeah, I think their shtick is if they let people know well in advance, as opposed to with Helldivers,
Which
where it's
is the
like
right thing to do.
kind of thing.
That's
then,
fine.
That's
yeah.
the right thing to do. Even though, like, I'm not in full support of them requiring that to play the game, I would much rather you say way in advance, hey, we're going to release this, but if you want to play it, you're going to need an account. So that way you could be an informed consumer and be like, do I want to make a PSN account in order to play Ragnarok? Which I suggest everyone definitely go play that game. I did play it on release. Excellent fucking game.
Yeah, I'm very stoked to play it, so I'll be looking forward to that.
If you like the
in
first
August.
one, you're going to love Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Can they bring the original PS2 ones to PC?
I would love for them to do that, dude. I've been wanting to play those. That would be good.
Those kind of brawlers, that was my shit back then.
It would be so awesome if they do that with Ragnarok, so you could like even prior to it, so people could see like it, because they're such different games in comparison to the newer ones.
Very different games.
It would be I think it would be a great marketing strategy to do that. Hey, here's an anniversary edition of all three before Ragnarok. Get people hyped up. I'm doing your job for you, Sony.
I was just Googling it. Apparently,
a woman!
Whoa! A woman!
A woman!
A woman!
Yeah, I was just looking for you. It's on emulators. There are PS3 emulators and whatnot. So, but no, there's no official way.
No. Yeah, I mean, like I totally would never play with an emulator, but some people would like to have like official copies where it's like no worries about like emulation issues or like you know I mean, not saying that ports are like have a reputation of being
we've
perfect.
had ported.
Yeah, especially in regards to PlayStation. Not saying that ports have a good reputation, but at least you have the opportunity to work with like customer support, and there could be like a some improvement. Instead of going like, hey, my game doesn't work, stop emulating then.
Yeah. Next thing was Monster Hunter Wilds.
Now with 40% added polygons.
I mean, I thought it looked okay in the original trailer, and I think more people
you can see the difference, right?
I'm with you, Brian. I don't think there was anything wrong with the original trailer.
Yeah, I think the original trailer was literally just open savanna, so less foliage and stuff like that, because it's the plains.
Well, like think about it. You can see it, by making it that open, what like more deserty look, like so you could see like so far out, and to see how large the scale of the world. I think that's what they were trying to do, and unfortunately, World looks so wonderful, beautiful game,
very dense
with
as well.
Rise, very very dense with foliage. You can't like replicate that level of detail on that scale of what they were showing in that original trailer. Dude, even like the nicest computer possible with the best graphics card would probably struggle with that if you're gonna with that level of density.
Right.
So there's no way. Well, with this PlayStation we're talking about, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like with Rise. Like Rise had like they offered all these different, like the mounts, which is what Wilds is gonna have. So they made the maps larger so you can actually utilize these mounts in the game.
And they've added a lot of stuff for the mounts as well. Like I was watching the trailer, like you can be picked up while downed, that kind of thing. You can just call your mount while you're on the ground, and it just scoops you up. Shit like that. There's mounted combat. You can just full on wail on shit while riding a mount.
I think expecting a scale back a little bit on the graphics quality is to be expected when you're trying to broaden the environments a lot more, making them more wide and open.
I mean, I would argue
with the trailer.
Pardon me?
This is my issue with the trailer.
Go for it.
The first one, not the second one, is
okay.
All the post-processing was on. Like the final little glisten you put on the end after you built everything was on. Everything was on, but the stuff underneath looked cheap. They fixed that now with that. And like, I know
that was also an announcement trailer too. I know so we have to be fair to that.
Finished, but they kicked themselves in the foot. They should have just turned it off and gone, here's pre-release. Because that final sheen does nothing if your game isn't finished underneath, right? You can't just turn on a switch and your game looks phenomenal, right? If they turn that off and then your brain goes, oh, okay, this isn't finished. Like there's no finishing touches on here, but they had all that on. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks a bit weak. Is the PlayStation that weak? I found out that the PlayStation is not that weak. They should have just turned off the thing for that, and I think a lot of people wouldn't have said anything because it's quite obvious that wasn't final quality.
I think you could also argue that they probably needed to make an announcement for like investors and show off a little bit or something to that effect.
They should have just gone, okay, let's not put post-processing on because A, it's not going to do anything, and B, it's going to make our game look like we're done here. We're just working on other stuff now. My only issue with Wilds, which is inherent to an open world game, I think Monster Hunter works really well when it's in a more closed-off map.
It does.
Is a lot of the scenery looks very generic and a little bit. I'm going to import this map.
I mean, deserty areas. Like I'm gonna be, I'm really tired of deserty areas in games. I was just like, just not too long ago, when I was playing Stellar Blade, there's so many sandy, desolate wasteland, and it's such a overused concept with backgrounds, and it's like, I agree with you. Like, I'm not really fond of like the setting so far with that.
It is quite generic, but that happens when you've got a large open world, right?
Yeah,
that does happen.
One thing I would say is that I would be more interested to see how the scale that they're creating this game or making this game is going to impact online play, because that is a major facet in the older games. And one thing I will defend Rise about, because a lot of people like to shit on that game for its graphics, rightfully so, because they scaled it back for Switch. So I don't think it actually looks that bad. It's just they had to scale it back considering the
play
platform.
Pokemon on Switch and you'd be like, oh my god, this Monster Hunter game is the best looking game I've ever played on Switch ever.
I play my Switch quite often, and it's like I don't need high fidelity graphics on my Switch. I'm fine with it. But one thing I will say that when I was revisiting World after I played Rise, because of like how scaled back everything was graphically. And even for a game that played on the fucking Switch of all things, the internet play was a lot easier to match up with. The matchmaking was significantly better. Granted, World is an older game, but it does have a lot of issues with connectivity, whereas Rise did not have that problem. It almost immediately made it accessible, and it was quick matchups. So I'm interested to see, like, by adding more to the game, if like was it a graphics problem, like the graphics taking more of the front seat, that it impacted the online play, because it is such a big, these games benefit from the online play.
It felt a bit like, I think I played Worlds multiplayer on PC, and it felt a bit like, we don't really know how to do this. We're going to do our best. So it was janky. You could get there eventually, but it just felt like a bit more experience with online play, and it was fine.
I'm wondering if I would like to see, like, I'm going to wait and see, because I'm thinking closer to like the full release, we'll probably see like how much like like how it actually works on I'm just blanking super bad. I'm so sorry. On a on like the online play, on like the on a gameplay aspect, and if it does actually, like, if the scale of the game actually impacts it graphically.
I think
so far it looks really great.
Yeah, I think they've probably come a long way from.
Sorry, my brain. I had a huge brain fart. I did not mean to like totally scale up.
No, all good. I think they've probably learned from Worlds. It was mostly the UI experience, I would say, or the UX experience for Worlds that made it a problem. Having to like create a room or whatever and give someone a code and all that bollocks, and like it was good that they had filtering options to like narrow it down to the type of players that you want, but doing it on a controller through those menus can be a bit arduous and things like that. And then of course there were people who were being connected from like different regions in the world and therefore getting disconnected. I don't think the graphics would have had too large of impact. It's possible, for sure.
That's why I was wondering if that had something to do with it, because I think that with Rise, because the graphics weren't like the first priority, it looks like it felt like they prioritized more the online capability. They really wanted people to be able to, because they offered it really early on in the game.
Yeah, I suspect
in comparison to World, where it was
mostly. So I'm wondering. I suspect it was mostly just because Monster Hunter World, whilst a popular game, is still a niche game, so the player base is like forced to be global. Like if you made it regional only, you're not going to have enough players to really enjoy your experience. So you would have been connecting a lot to people in like Japan and shit like that.
you're probably right. I agree with that. I'm curious to see like maybe they like learning from both games, like that. It seems like that they put more focus on the online capabilities with Rise because they didn't have to worry too much about making the game look like super like high fidelity back then.
It's probably more like everyone's like, this game is amazing. Oh my god, the online is shocking, and they're like, oh, okay, let's fix this. It's probably that.
Quite possible.
Like every Monster Hunter game, it doesn't feel like they don't pull stunts, they don't do gimmicks. I don't feel like they've made this open world because they're like, oh, Monster Hunter, but open world. They've obviously got an idea of what they want to do with an open world.
I think there's like certain like mechanics that they really liked utilizing in the older games and wanted to expand upon them. It seems like they're trying to expand upon their own model. I like Monster World. I have a lot of faith in this development team. Yeah. So I mean,
I do think the smaller closed off separate maps works better for making a fantasy world. But we'll have to wait and see. We've seen the same trailer, but
I would just argue that the concept of it does lend itself to being more open world because you're traversing, trying to find these big, mystical creatures, trying to hunt them down. Like, I don't know, it would give them a lot of opportunity to see like what kind of improve upon their monster designs too, because they make some big boys. Some big boys, but they're still kind of like you're kind of still limited by the map.
I would also point out that I think we're probably jumping to conclusions here as well, because bearing in mind the marketing
that's what we do, Brian.
That's fair, but bearing in mind the marketing for World, we pretty much only saw like the forest biome. I have no doubt there are other biomes, and like World was like semi open world. They broke it up into like 2 zones technically, I suppose. So if anything, they've just found the technology so you don't have to break it up into multiple zones like that. You can just have it in one big seamless transitional world kind of thing where you can just go from one area to another. So I wouldn't be surprised if by open world they've just overcome that technical like issue. Probably, especially with the PlayStation having the SSDs and things like that, that makes it all a lot more easier. So I suspect it's probably going to be just as dense, just as well polished as Worlds was, especially due to how popular Worlds was.
What it looks like in this trailer, it looks like in this trailer too. They're having these bigger, more detailed monsters like in clusters too. Like so it seems like
there's definitely a lot more going on. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm just really excited for the
areas,
gameplay.
there's only because with the forested areas in World, all you really had was like you had the big boy that you're trying to find, and maybe there's like a couple of the other ones like littered around, but they were all spaced out. They weren't like herded like this. The only ones that herd were like the little guys. Yeah, 100%. That you would farm. So it looks like they're trying to push for new things, and I'm really excited. It looks really great.
Yeah, I hope that some of the medium-sized monsters still have an arena to catch them in because they're very good at.
I love catching. That was my shit, man.
Building an arena, a closed off to a degree arena where you've got to fight with this terrain and the thing you're fighting. I hope it's not just here's a monster in the middle of an open field, hit it and dodge its attacks. That would be lame. But we've not seen anything. We've seen the same trailer twice, but it looks much better.
Yeah.
Like a game now.
I'm pretty confident that they're gonna knock out the park.
Even the hair looks really good. Look at that, like the hair shuffle.
Yeah, like
little shimmies.
The texture of the clothing is really nice as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you consider how well World did as well, like World really put Monster Hunter on the map,
its
popularity
still
exploded.
Doing well. People still play it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I like to go back and revisit it, and there's always people online. It's one thing I do love about the games in general. This is like a side comment, is like just how like welcoming the community is. It's not. I'd never come across anybody like toxic in it. Everyone's down to help each other. It's like I think people are just stoked to play with other people in these games. That they're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, definitely. So, given the success
I've had nothing
of World,
but positive. Yeah, it's such a positive experience.
Yeah, given the success as World, I think they're very keen to not drop the ball on this because they know that this is going to be
I don't think they will.
This is the second game for most people and they're going to be like, we want to keep you in this franchise. And
I don't even think Rise did that poorly. I think it was just a lot of the criticism was very shallow in the case of like, oh, it just doesn't graphically look as good. And of course, there's not as much to do.
Yeah, I think Rise was a little more arcadey as well, which I think took away from it for a lot of people.
Like I said, with Rise, right from the get-go, they had online play opened up. Whereas with World, you had to get through like the pretty arduous like
the
process
tutorial.
of like, going. Yeah, and it's long. It takes a while to get there. But once you're there, then it opens up and you can start joining up with people. Yeah. So in Rise, I remember like it was just almost immediate. You could start joining up with people. So I think they just wanted that one to be more of a casual game.
Yeah, I think the combat looks great as well. Like when the guy with the great sword just jams it in the mouth of the monster, and I was just like, "What? You can do that?" And like when you can fire your gun from the back of the mounts, lots of like new things that are coming to the series.
Very, very excited to see what they're gonna do because it's so far. I'm just from the trailers alone. It looks like tons of fun.
Yeah. Next we had Dynasty Warriors. When it first came up on screen, Origins, yes, Dynasty Warriors Origins. When it first came on screen, I was like, is this going to be Dynasty Warriors? And it was. I'm not probably going to play it myself, to be honest. I've got no interest in the Dynasty Warrior games, but I know there is absolutely a fan base out there. People who want to feel like Sauron and just smash a maze through like 1 billion people on the field of battle at once kind of thing.
Murdering
it's just
groups and groups of men.
Yeah, just the hordes just get slain before you kind of thing. It looks all right. I mean, I've not really got a lot to say on it myself. I killed 500
people today, all in a day's work, no trauma.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. How are you two feeling about it?
As someone who played up till...
I loved Dynasty Warriors as a kid.
Four.
Can I just say Peachy looks like a quest giver right now?
Sorry, I was pulling up the wiki. I was trying to see which was the last one I played.
Right.
I played up till, I think, it was like Extreme or something like that. It's fun to do that. The problem was the last one, which I think is 9.
Right.
No one was happy with 9. No new players came in.
What was wrong with 9? I think my last one I played, I think, was 6.
It was very stripped back. I never played it. But from what I can tell, it was too dumbed down. And it felt empty. It felt like so the problem with a game like this is you can go in and you can wreck loads of warriors, right?
Yeah.
And it felt
just
like
murdering men.
Yes, murdering men. And it felt like the game didn't really need you to do anything until it was time for you to do something. And it felt like you had no agency until the game was like, it's agency time, do the thing, and then we'll move on. This doesn't look like that. This looks a lot bigger. This looks to me like, again, 4 something was the last one I played. This looks more like 8, which people were much more happier with.
I wouldn't know how 8 is. I think I have a copy of 6, but I remember it was 4 that I liked the most. I played that all the time. So whatever changes that people are unhappy with.
Hyper Dynasty Warriors 4 Hyper.
I think that's the one I played too.
Yes. But
what system was that on?
That was the one they released, the first one on PC. That was the first one on PC, but it was basically a port of 4 from the PlayStation 2. But
that's
with
the one I had.
Missiles.
Yeah, I had the PlayStation 2 one. I think it looks cool. The team behind.
We've seen nothing again.
Yeah, we see it's all cinematics. I can't say anything.
There was some gameplay in there. There was some actual.
Is that game? Okay.
Yeah, a small amount.
Excuse the shit out of me. But
no, it's hard to tell because it
looks good. It looks good. Hasn't the team who's behind Dynasty Warriors? They've been working on a bunch of these Muso type games for like different different franchises. Like they did the Zelda ones, they did Fire Emblem.
People were very
and
happy with the Zelda one. I'm not sure about the Fire Emblem
I
one, but
bought
they
the
were super
Zelda
happy with
one
the Zelda.
after Tears of the Kingdom. I bought like all the Zeldas I missed out on the Switch after Tears of the Kingdom. So I haven't played Age of Calamity yet, but I've heard excellent things. I did play. I have Fire Emblem Warriors, which I wasn't really too crazy about, but I did play Three Hopes, and it played great. Like that, they really like. That was probably one of the best decisions that the development team decided, or I don't know whose decision it was, to work with other franchises and try to like broaden them with this style of gameplay, because Omega Force. But I mean, I'm interested. I'm interested. I don't know how excited I am, because it's not I remember playing Dynasty Warriors 4, so same. And I was still in high school, so like it's been a while since I've
I
had the
think
interest
what the
in like.
community is hoping is it isn't 9, and they've looked at their other games.
I hope they go back. They go back to when we're like looking back at what made people happy with the franchise and going to that instead of.
It's really like it looks stupid, right? Because it's one dude destroying lots of people, but making that balanced, where not only can you do that, but also that makes a difference. But the whole you're not going to fuck yourself too much.
It's
and they got the balance wrong with 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, like I mean, all I remember is like going through like in hindsight when I'm playing these games and going like, man, I'm just going through mowing these people down. Like, my God, all these dudes.
It is very
killing
satisfying.
so many dudes. Yeah, no. If you are having a bad day and you just want to like get some like get it out of your system, put on a Dynasty Warriors game and then just like mow down some dudes.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's the right direction. It's like Vampire Survivors, isn't it? You are a murder god. And
you are a murderer. That is not a hero. That is a murderer. You need to be balanced
in that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be balanced in that game. That is important. But also the game doesn't, because like you can't do everything. You can only be in one place at once.
Kill their dudes, and that's all they need.
You need to be able to make a difference. You need to be able to have that ridiculous kill murder god vibe. But also you need to not just lose because of some stupid reason. Like,
yeah.
They are fun games, and hopefully this is in the right direction, and the fans of that genre are sated, because like it's not like they've made 10 games. They've made about 27 games. People
and it seems like I mean, hey, if anything, like if this doesn't work out, they can always go back to making games for other franchises, because those seem to be doing extremely well too for them.
Yep, true.
But
so the next game is Infinity Nikki. Now, Infinity Nikki, when I was watching it live, I actually posted a TikTok about it, and I was like, this isn't the game for me, but I hope it's good for the people who are
Brian, this is definitely the game for you. And collect outfits. Come on.
Well, it's very uwu, and I'm not an uwu fan. But then, right at the end of the trailer, there is such a tone shift. It goes from like, uwu to
boss fight.
I'm your mommy now. No, it's not a boss fight. There's just this like you've got this chick like throughout this trailer who's like, oh, look at me, take pictures of my cat. Look at Cannon, oh, lovely. And then at the end, there's just this woman who's like, I'll give you infinity, kind of thing. And I'm like, mommy, hello, how are you doing? Like, where did that come from?
I was looking at this just a second ago, and let me find it. Let me pull it back up. And the part that got that made me kind of go like, is just that it's a glamorous dress-up adventure game series. For the first time ever, Mirrorland is now an explorable open world. And it's just marvelous journey, exploring the world, discovering amazing landscapes, and collecting outfits. Just,
Yeah,
so
it's an idle game.
Up, baby.
Here's my problem.
It's a silly little game.
Mommy's about to come on screen, by the way. You can feel free to talk.
No, I watched the trailer. We took away different things.
I want to see Mommy.
So people who like playing dress-up in games, I am one of them. I know it doesn't come out. But there was one shot of the menu of clothing, right? That's all I saw, and this is a dress-up game, and I only saw 5 items that you could change. It was like hair, dress, headwear, shoes, and socks. If that's all you can change in that game, the people they're aiming for are not going to like it. Have you seen people modding Final Fantasy Online to clothe about and do fashion?
Yeah.
That is what that one. Now it was just one shot, but it was the only time I saw it, so I have to take it from that. That was 5 items of clothing. That's not making
That was
an
a
outfit.
shift at the end.
Yeah.
I just saw the trailer and I was like, that was a shift at the end. What was going on there?
It's really weird, but yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Peachy. I did not mean to cut you off. I was looking at the trailer while you were talking because I wanted to see what you were talking about. And I saw like she was tied up. I'm like, girl.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
So this is supposed to be a dress-up game, and if you can only change 5 items, that's vague customization at best.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got mechanics where you're taking photos of stuff. The audience that loves to dress up and put different costumes together and like mod their costumes, they look different and put different things with stuff, are not going to be impressed with this game if there's only 5.
People, when they're into dressing up in their like dress up games, like in their fashion, like that's.
I love me some fashioning up in a game when I've got strong enough.
Yeah.
I love that, but from what I saw, there were 5 items, and one of those was basically the whole dress outfit.
Mm-hmm.
That is not enough.
It looks like there might be more. I've got a screenshot on screen now. Looks like hair, dress, coats, tops, bottoms, socks, shoes, as well as potentially complete outfits. And then I'm seeing maybe based on the size of the scroll bar in terms of hairstyles, it's looking like 30 hairstyles potentially.
Yeah.
I worry this isn't going to be enough.
I feel like if you're selling this as just strictly dress up, and as a former little girl who loved her dress up games like Barbies and everything, paper dolls, the more options the better. And if only like, God, that sounds awful to say, like only 30.
That isn't a lot. Like
that's not a lot if the whole concept is revolving around dressing up. You need like limitless options.
Yeah.
So
like look at Sims, look at modding Fallout, look at like any game where people are trying to make their character look how they want. Even when you're playing WoW and you're mix and matching different armor.
Like there's certain like what game I was thinking of like Code Vein. I like that.
Never played Code Vein.
No, it's fine. I was more thinking about the character creator, like how you could add all these accessories to the point where like just layering and layering on top. Like that's the kind of, when you're thinking like dress up games, you need to think of stuff like that where like you can't limit somebody to just going like, oh, you can put on one necklace. Like you got to give them, put as much as you want. I don't care. Just drip the bitch out.
You do have to do that. Like look at
you have to.
World.
No one's playing this game for gameplay.
Maybe
I want to see my little
that's
anime girl in cute dresses, and if I want her to have 2 different types of hairstyles, 3 different kinds of hats, maybe like mix and match her shoes, let me fucking do that.
Yeah. That's that. And there was a lot of gameplay in that, more than some of the other games we've already spoken about. It looked like boss fighting. I know, like combat.
Slap an earring off the boss and collect it. Put a ring on each finger and just like iron and brass knuckle it.
Maybe it's a combat RPG with some with a fair amount of customization options, but
there's probably going to be DLC as well. Bear in mind,
30 hairdos. That's not a dress-up game. That's a customization option.
Yeah.
When they were like, "Oh, dress up," I'm like, "Oh, hang on," and then I saw that screen. And I'm like, "Oh, that's not really dress up, is it? It's just put another skin on my character." Maybe they'll just keep pumping out loads of different things, and you can things on top of each other.
We could also give them the benefit of the doubt on this one, and it's possible that they're trying to be very reserved with what they're showing to with their trailers. So, like when you go in, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how many options there actually are.
Possibly. It's the 5th game in the series as well, by the way.
I mean, Yeah, if especially because like it seems like they've been in the game for a bit, pardon the pun, for just doing dress up games, and they're trying to expand
But they're
upon it.
not.
Like
This is clearly not just a dress up game because there was boss fights. There was fucking boss fights in there.
no, that says I can collect outfits, Peachy. It's a dress up game.
I hope there are
I would
dress-up
say
options.
I would say if you're gonna title Infinite Nikki, you give me infinite options.
Well,
Madam.
with a name like that, I will not be surprised if it's live service. So
Yeah, probably.
expect probably DLC and stuff like that.
You're probably right.
Dress-up games are the perfect live service.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you could just like you
All
could
the
do so
cosmetics.
many different collaborations with other franchises, bring in different outfits from or accessories from like, dude, like Hello Kitty.
Like PlayStation Home when they gave me a Dodge Ram T-shirt. Oh, yes, I played PlayStation Home. Shut up, leave me alone. I'm dressed as a unicorn. Shut up.
You are definitely an idol.
You are absolutely the demographic for this game. Just the woo Peachy mode today.
I just want mommy. But anyway, let's cut to the break.
Fair enough.
As we've got a few more games to go and other topics to cover. We will be back in around about 5 to 10 minutes. Get yourselves a drink, a stretch your legs, etc. And check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/fully rendered. And also Twitter, fully rendered TV. And also everything else fully rendered. BRB. And
Don't
we're
forget
back.
to Winnie.
Don't forget to Winnie. Give us a good nay.
Give us a good nay.
No.
Aww. The cock
I
tease
am a
is real.
Yuffie hater. Thank you.
But welcome back to part 2 of the Fully Rendered podcast. We're continuing with some of the announcements that were made at the State of Play the other day. It didn't mean to rhyme, it's just how it happened. This next one, I'm actually genuine. Well, I was until I found out that it's gonna be free to play, and now I'm like, oh no.
What game?
It's the Ballad of something or other, Antara. I think it looks pretty as hell. I was very, very much captivated by like the art style, by the characters, the models, the monsters, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it looked exceptionally interesting.
Oh wow! That I just clicked on one screenshot. That is.
When you see close-ups of the characters, you can maybe see the cracks forming of how this is a free-to-play, pay-to-win Korean MMO.
They have no pores.
They have no pause.
That's just Korean though. Like we've discussed like previously, they're very, very weird
In
about
Korea,
aesthetic.
you can't have pores.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
You can't. If you're not extraordinarily attractive, you are a second-class citizen.
No, you could work for Samsung.
I suppose true. But yeah, like
But everything's all about K-pop, baby.
all the K-pop. But I thought it looked really, really cool. I actually thought it was like kind of cool that this bloke's just walking
lot of
around fighting
Korean
monsters with a child on his back, and he's just like, yeah, I'll look after you. It's absolutely fine, kind of thing. But
Why is a
as
child on your back, sir?
it's concerning because I've played Lost Ark, and Lost Ark is a really fun game, and it's free to play.
Isn't that like the biggest MMO like in Korea too? Like everyone, like
It's
so many players.
one of the biggest, I'd say.
One of the
it was
biggest. Okay.
in development for a long time. It's an extraordinarily pretty game, very, very fun
Yeah,
game.
I played a little bit of that, and you got your K-pop dances.
Yeah, you got your K-pop dancers and all that shenanigans.
Yeah, I was doing my
But
K-pop dances in burning buildings. It was great.
outside of all the like pretty fighting and raids and dungeons and all the really cool shit, there's a monetization system that's basically pay to win, and that's to upgrade your items. You have to use a material, and then you have to increase the amount of materials each time, and then you gamba it basically, and it's a roll of the dice on whether or not these materials you've gained actually upgrade your weapon. And like I said, it becomes more, and the chances become lower the more you upgrade it, and things like that. And the only way to get more after a certain point is to pay for it. So I'm concerned that that's what's going to happen with this, and I'm like, oh, please don't, because it actually looks like it's going to be dope.
If every Korean MMO goes that way.
I know, but it is.
Wait a minute.
I don't know if it's an MMO. I don't 100% know if it's an MMO, but it's free to play, so that doesn't necessarily mean MMO. But either way, Korean free to play, probably pay to win,
Wah, wah.
unfortunately. So it's a shame because like
Probably.
every time I'm looking at this cinematic, I'm like, that looks sick. That looks sick. That also looks sick. Like, look at it. It's fucking gorgeous, and it just looks like it's got so much character. And then yeah, so
Sorry, my chat just said free to pay.
free to pay now. True, very, very true. Do you guys have anything to add to how it looks and what you feel about
I
it?
mean, I saw a screenshot. Like I went over to I'm just looking at the what IGN posted the list of it, just so I could take a look at the screenshots as you're pulling them up, or the trailers as you're pulling them up. And I saw the one with the big flower, and I was like, Jesus,
Yeah.
that's
Like
nice.
it's got like this.
But I also
two
will
world
say,
aspect
do you
to it
notice
as
how
well.
the child is sitting on his back, and that it's definitely like it just looks like the kid's floating there.
I think it's actually impressive how you can make dark fantasy look generic somehow.
I don't think it looks generic at all. I really
Like
don't.
all of them. It
Nah,
looks,
disagree.
I watched like 4
What I've
trailers and I
noticed
could
is
I had
there
to
is-
double check it was a different fucking game.
Disagree.
What I notice with these games is like, so this is another Korean developer, and I've noticed with their games so far, like I played a little bit of Lost Ark. I obviously played Stellar Blade, and this I'm judging from these 3 games. Okay, like I agree with what Peachy's saying in the case. The character models always consistently look generic as all fucking hell. They can make beautiful backgrounds. All the like the creature designs, like even in this, the creature designs look great. Stellar Blade, the creature designs look great. But then you just get to the character and it looks like
I think that's
they all
a
look the
beauty
same.
standard thing, like having
No,
the
it
perfect
is.
skin,
It
symmetrical
absolutely-
faces.
It
like,
absolutely
no
is, and
blemishes.
because of that, it makes all these games across the board look the same. Like they throw everything at it, at like the environments, the creature designs, but as soon as it comes to the people, like the main characters that you're supposed to be playing as, or the NPCs, there's a certain beauty standard that they're trying to adhere to, and it just that's it. And because of it, it looks so bland and so boring. And I agree with that. That it's how did you could do all this cool shit, but these character models make it look so generic.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That is like something very common with like the particularly in the faces. The faces do also the same.
Like
But
they almost look
I think that's a
Barbie-esque.
beauty. Yeah. I think that's a
very
beauty
doll-like.
standards thing. But like the monster designs and the world design stuff like that, I think look
You
very,
can
very
put an
unique.
Uggo in there, Korea.
You can, but they just won't. They just refuse.
It won't break my immersion. It might enhance
That's
my
what's
immersion.
great about dark fantasy, right? You've got this magical, fucking beautiful thing, and then you contrast that with something that is just dark and uggo, if you like.
Well, it's like,
Otherwise,
let's look at this in a
when Brian said it was.
let me ask you a question.
Okay, you go, girl.
Let me just ask a question. Who's getting the skincare in these dark fantasies? That's all I want to know.
True.
Everyone's unusually clean looking.
True and real.
Next, it's going to be Korean pay to win, which is
Probably.
a shame because they've clearly got talent going on there, but they need to pander to their market. Of course they do.
Absolutely.
Of course they
I
do.
agree.
They need to, get people playing the thing. Maybe it's just not for us, and it doesn't have to be.
It's true. Also true. The next one we'll go over quickly because it's not something everyone can play. It's a PS VR 2 game called Behemoth. It's, from what I saw, to summarize it, to TLDR it, imagine Shadow of the Colossus with Gorn on VR.
Which is very sad. When I asked Brian about it and he was like, it's VR, I'm like, nope. Out.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool concept. It's a cool
concept.
yeah, I'm an
But
advocate.
all we've got is a pre-rendered trailer.
True.
Oof.
Like, I've always been an advocate for VR. I enjoy VR games. I know it's not for everyone. I will always point out the vast majority of the criticisms for VR are often from people who have yet to actually try it. I'm excited for this because of 2 reasons. One, I've heard good things about the PSVR games. They're usually quite well received. And 2, there has recently been a leak that PlayStation are working on a cable that makes PSVR 2 compatible with PC.
Interesting.
You're right.
Mhm.
It is interesting because the PSVR 2 is quite well reviewed as a VR headset. People have described it as being as good as an Index, but significantly cheaper than an Index in terms of the headset itself, not including the controllers or anything, but the actual like headset. Yeah, no, people have said that because of the technology that works with the graphics, it will like wherever you're not looking,
A
it
fully
lowers the
integrated system.
yeah, it lowers the
makes sense.
resolution, and then where you look, it has like really high fidelity and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I have noticed
that makes sense.
watching PS2, PS2,
PSVR,
PSVR.
yeah, it's a mouthful, isn't it?
You know, the like when it's recorded on a video, it looks terrible. Apart from that bit where they're looking, and it looks great.
Yeah.
And
I
that's the thing.
see. I never even noticed that because I mean it makes sense when you describe it like that because I whenever I see something's like VR I immediately click off because I don't own VR so it doesn't it doesn't impact my life in either way. But that's pretty disheartening to hear that they're just I mean it makes sense because your line of focus is going to be directly in front of you.
I would not
So
take it as a disheartening thing. Like it's good technology because if you're not looking at it, you won't notice it. It's like in the same way that your own real eyes blur your peripheral vision.
Wrong word to use, but I mean, yeah, it does make sense because like most people, like you're going to be your line of focus. Like if people have you have tunnel vision. You're going to focus on what's directly in front of you. So what's on your peripheral isn't going to be, doesn't need to be the sharpest.
And then,
Video and graphics have and always will be tricks.
yeah,
It's a good way to do it.
yeah, it is.
No, that is a great way to do it.
So yeah, I'm excited because it means that one, we might get this game on PC, and two, it means that the VR market is about to become substantially more accessible because another cheap but really good headset is potentially about to go on the market.
Meta moved themselves out of the perfect market position they had with the Quest 2.
True.
People want VR, but they do not want to drop $2,000.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that's true.
So yeah,
I mean, that's that, and also spaces for me. Like I don't have the room for VR, but like but yeah, the price point has always just been significantly too high for, especially considering like what is available on VR is still so limited in comparison to PC and console, like non-VR
They will need
games.
their own software to get that going, though.
Yeah,
You won't. Won't be. I doubt you'll be buying games off Steam and playing VR games from Steam on your PSVR.
I imagine they're probably going to go down the same route as connecting your PSN account or some bullshit like that, so you can have access to the PSN interface.
As long as they tell us about it, Brian.
Yeah, true.
that's all that matters. Just tell us ahead of time, and I won't care.
Yeah.
With VR though, I'm more interested in the second one because the first one was pre-rendered everything.
I'm interested in watching other people play this because the next one is an Alien game, and when I was watching this live, I was literally like, "Oh, an Alien game. I'll pass," kind of thing. Not because I don't like Alien. To be clear, I've enjoyed the movies, but I don't play horror games, and I'm not in a.
Is this a
VR
horror game?
is a whole new step up.
Yeah,
It really is.
I'm not prepared to shit my pants live on Twitch, to be honest.
See, this is where it was disappointing to find out this was VR because I really, really, really enjoyed Isolation, and that's such a great game.
I want to see you play
But-
this or Isolation in VR. I would love to
No.
see that.
No,
My cat has
if you're my
pointed
friend,
out-
you would not say that.
If you do want to play it, you need to make sure you live in a country where you can wear a VR headset.
Hey, no. You see, you already got my husband going in the chat saying that he wants to do VR Isolation because.
Yes,
Thank you. If
do
you were
it.
my friend, you wouldn't put that into the universe because
Do
now
it.
you got the guy going.
I would
Play
genuinely
Phasmo in
love to see
VR.
that.
You will fill your undercrackers with so much fecal matter.
Dude, I'm already such a paranoid, high-strung person. So put a strap a VR headset and have sounds behind me, dude.
You will stack
No,
your
thank you.
pants.
No, the
I
reason I'm-
won't, Brian. I might accidentally break my hand again.
True.
The reason I'm more interested / excited about the Rogue Incursion, even though I won't be able to play it unless they do break the PC, is we saw really shitty and only a little bit actual in-game gameplay. We had a frame rate which was 14 frames a second.
True.
It wasn't rendered properly. There was like graphical glitches all over the place, but it was actual footage from the game. And like, okay, there is a game there, and some of the stuff that they set up a bit more looked authentically alien, and that's what I want out of my Alien games. Alien Isolation was so authentically alien that I got a whole new level of enjoyment from the game.
That's such a good game. Like I have 2 copies of that game. I was terrified to play it before I finally streamed it right before we got married, and it wasn't. I think which version did I play? I think I played on PlayStation, and knowing that there's also the mic capabilities you like to utilize on PC, I was like, dude, that might actually like make me like that's terrifying, but that's such a cool concept.
There is one problem with that game. And it's kind of minor, and it's not something that I would usually say, oh, it outstays its welcome.
Yeah.
Not because it gets boring or anything, but the longer you play the game, the more you understand how the AI director is moving the alien about, and the magic just breaks for, I'd say, maybe 2 hours of the game, but then it kicks into the ending, and it's okay.
I think that's probably the worst thing that it does is it goes on a little too long, because I remember when I was just a little bit, because I do remember at some point when I was playing it, I ended up asking I was like, how much longer is this? It just feels long.
It pulled back the curtain, and it was no longer an alien stalking me. It was triggers that I was doing by playing the game. Just like, you take an hour, maybe 2 off that game, streamline some of the stuff.
With a game like that, with horror, I feel like this in general, like across the board with horror, is you need to keep them at a shorter length to make them the most effective. If you make them too long, like I played some pretty shitty horrors too, and especially when it comes to like stalker types, which the alien does classify as a stalker type, you get to the point where it's like, oh my God, this is just annoying now. It's not scary anymore. You go into a new area, oh, there he is again, and then you're like, oh, here we go.
I don't think it's the biggest problem, but I think it would be perfection with
I agree.
A little bit of editorial.
That's why I would say it's probably the only downside about it is it's a little too long at points, but it ends on a high note. Ending is excellent.
That length is not at the end of the game. It's like not in the middle. It's a bit past your middle. It's in your third act. You just remove that and then go straight to the ending bit, because the ending bit then is like the payoff.
Oh, dude, the ending. Happens. Yeah, I agree. The ending, like where you're supposed to feel like you could calm down and relax, and then they're like, JK. It's such a good game. I cannot stop singing praises about that game since I played it.
Basically, what we're saying, Rogue Incursion, is you've got a lot to live up to. Good luck.
True. It was very framey. Hopefully they'll amend that.
But I liked that. They were like, hey, here's gameplay that we've got. This is a real game, not like Behemoth, which has a cool concept, but we don't own anything.
Right.
Fair. The next one was Where Winds Meet, which I believe we have seen before at Summer Games Fest.
This looked cool.
I thought it looked cool.
I was like, okay, this looks cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's got a bit of a DMCA, like combat-wise. Not DMCA, DMC rather.
DMC.
Yeah, DMC vibe. But
I didn't even clock you said the wrong thing.
I didn't until afterwards. I was like, why did I add an A?
I'm on this screenshot where they're just standing on both standing on trees.
Yeah, you do. It's
I've already pulled apart the trailer, by the way. That whole fight that's going throughout the trailer, he is teaching her how to fight. That's not a proper fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's seafood type.
This looks really good.
But it was cool. It looked cool. It visually
beautiful,
stunning. The art direction.
Yeah.
The weird god stuff they got going on. What a vibe. That's how you do Dark Fantasy.
And with the baby.
Gotta protect the baby.
You gotta protect the baby.
Don't volley the baby. But yeah, I think it looks cool.
You know what it reminds me of? Did either of you see Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember like the jokey movie trailers with Ben Stiller where he was holding a baby?
Doing the fake
it was
movies,
like,
yeah.
Yes, it's like then like there's one at the way in where it's like an ice age, and he's like, "Someone let the fridge open." It's like all I think about. That's all I thought about when I saw him like jumping down with the baby. It's like, who left the fridge open?
Also, I kind of want a dueling parasol. Anyone else?
I would love that. Dude, the parasol is my favorite in Sekiro, so I still have Sekiro fresh in my mind. This game, it looks good. It looks very, very good. I'm definitely gonna play it.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Hopefully it will be again something that comes to PlayStation. Ultimately, it's not PlayStation, PC rather. Ultimately, it'll depend on popularity. But if it does, it
Single
probably
player game. Wait 7 years.
Yeah, so it won't be for a while either way. But hopefully it does. Where was I? In fact, it does say PC.
Ooh, those particle effects are very nice.
It's a NetEase game, online 10-player.
Yeah.
And it is coming to PC. It's NetEase. It's online versus multiplayer.
Wait, does it have an online mode or
online versus multiplayer? No, we're still talking about the game we were just looking at.
Oh, then I don't
is
give
this
a
the
shit
Marvel
anymore.
one?
No, we're still talking about the same game, Where Winds Meet.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's
no
online,
way.
online versus
player
multiplayer.
game apparently.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that suddenly just put me off.
But what? But what?
Yeah, that's a really misleading trailer.
That is a very misleading trailer. I thought that was a single player storied action narrative fighty game. What?
Nope, it's a NetEase game. Enjoy.
I am so confused. That was the only thing, apart from maybe Astro Bot, that I was like, oh.
Unlucky.
Okay. Are you sure?
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Everstone Studio and publisher NetEase.
Yep. Of course I'm right. I was reading the bloody blurb.
Oh no, I just need to confirm it for myself. To,
Did
like
NetEase watch their trailer?
Probably not.
They
To
just
be
put out a
honest.
trailer for a single player, like, Eastern inspired mythos game.
No, it's multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Sucks to be you.
Oh, geez, I glossed over it. That my God, I didn't even see it.
The next one on the list is Until Dawn. I won't bring up the trailer for this one. It's a remaster. It's coming to PC as well. It looked good. Not gonna lie. I don't play horror games, but I like watching other people play other games. So
this. I was thinking about it like because yesterday or the other day when I heard about them revealing this, because I played Until Dawn. That was actually one of my first streams I ever did. I think what a remaster actually is warranted a remaster at this point, because it is 10 years old, which isn't that old for a game, but considering the kind of like games that Supermassive makes, they are very prone to the uncanny valley. So them tightening things up will absolutely improve the experience.
What was that one on that ship they made? Because that was so uncanny.
Man of Medan.
Oh
yeah,
my
Man of Medan.
God. I couldn't.
The thing, it's rough. And in comparison to the newer ones, because there was definitely more of a budget that was put into Until Dawn. That's why it looks so much better, considering that's the older game. And from what I understand, they will eventually bring it to PC. And there is a gameplay aspect that I don't think would work. Is it going to be transferable on PC? I already talked about it.
The movement where you got
the movement one. And if they remove that and integrate something different, I will be 100% on board, and I would absolutely like.
That's probably something you can either just delete from the game or move to a different thing, because that's
they can get rid of it entirely and lose nothing.
PlayStation are like, we've got this thing and we need to do the thing with it. You'll get an extra budgeting cap if you do it. And they're like, no problem.
Yeah, and the problem with it was I was telling Brian and Peachy earlier before we started the podcast, was that the motion controls that were on the controller, where the game insisted that you don't move. It has an outline of the light. This is a PS5 controller, but there's a light that's on the PS4, and you're supposed to keep it between the outline. And what most people would hear the phrase, don't move, you won't move. Maybe put your controller down, right? And the game actually is having it move for you, and it drifts, and which is kind of the opposite of don't move. And so you're trying to keep it in there, and it ended up but it was so finicky because like you're trying to like really hard to keep it still, but it was just not very intuitive. And because of that, like I don't know about other people, but when I played, I lost 2 people because of that, and it actually made me like dislike that one aspect of the game where it's like if they remove that, the game would lose nothing and actually be more of an enhanced experience for people. And on top of that, enhancing the graphics, I think would be very beneficial because now that their technology's improved so much, I think they could probably, I mean, there's still always a risk of uncanny valley when you have hyper realistic graphics like Supermassive wants to do that. That's their MO. They want to do that. But hyper realism has a high risk of uncanny valley. You can make it look so good, but it just there's something off. So that, I mean, if anything, I think this is one of the times where I'll actually be okay with a remaster of a not too old game. It will look better, and I think if they fix that, I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Get rid of the don't move.
It absolutely does look better from what I saw in the trailers.
Just from the screenshots. Just the screenshots alone, they look really, really nice.
Yeah,
like Hayden Panettiere looks like Hayden Panettiere.
But then I remember the game is 10 years old, so it makes sense. There was like some mannequins and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit old hat. Oh, wait a minute, this game is 10 years old. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, from what I saw with the trailer, it definitely does look good. When Rami Malek comes on screen, I was like, oh, that's Rami Malek, like 100%. That's absolutely him, kind of thing. I mean, with regards to the controller thing, I think they're absolutely going to get rid of that. Like it's 100% certainty.
And you have to give it props for 10-year-old game. If when you go back and look at it, like of course it looks dated, but like it doesn't look that dated. It still looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's why art style is more important than graphical fidelity.
Yeah, well, that's like I said, that's unfortunately Supermassive's MO. Like they want their games to be as hyper realistic as possible, and they want to get they always try to get one celebrity in all of their games. And what I've noticed, especially when they did what Man of Medan was a part of it, there was a trilogy there's 4 of the games, I can't remember, the Dark Picture Chronicles or Dark Picture Anthology, whatever it was, because those were shorter games and obviously the budget was lower than Until Dawn. One of the biggest issues that they had with those, and because you pointed out Man of Medan, and I think, oh my God, it was Sean Astin. Not Sean Astin. I can't remember his name. Sean Ashmore, I think, was the actor that they got for that one. They always get one like well-known actor, and they do look. You could tell they put the most attention on that person, and then the rest of the supporting cast, because they reuse character models. Understandably, you have to. But because of that and their reused character models, they all look so generic next to them. So it's just this really jarring like experience where you're like, oh, that's Ashley Tisdale. Who the fuck is that?
Right.
So
what were you saying, Brian? Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
All good. With regards to the controller, they will absolutely get rid of that because it's coming to PC and not everyone uses PlayStation controllers. In fact, most people use Xbox controllers. So they'll probably change it to like mic or something like that. So if you hear noises, it's moving as things are rustling, as it were. That is probably the most likely. But yeah, they'll definitely get rid of that. The next thing was Path of Exile 2. They showed.
I know you're excited.
I mean, I'm excited. Like, I'm actually going to go through it pretty quickly because they didn't show anything new. It was more of what they announced with what they were showing. It's come to consoles. They're doing parity with PC, whereas before it was separated, so separate economies and things like that. So that's going to be really good for console players because then there'll actually be an economy for them to be involved in, because the economy was quite bad for console players on PoE1. They're also adding...
Is that because of the user base?
I think it's more of both UI and a smaller user base, yeah.
That's my next question is, how does the UI work on a console for something crazy like that?
So they've basically added like loads of really cool stuff for console and controller. Like there's loads of like shortcuts you like do a button combination and it swaps your items around and things like that. It actually looks really intuitive and pretty good. Because the changes they've made to the combat as well, it looks like it's actually going to be a really good controller game. Diablo 3 was actually really, really good on console. It was actually one of the best ways to play it, and one of the reasons for that was couch co-op. They're bringing couch co-op to PoE 2, which is huge for a number of reasons. One, because couch co-op in an action RPG is just a really fun experience, just playing with a bunch of mates all at the same time.
The old school Baldur's Gate games on PS2. Couch.
I loved those.
RPG.
I played them with my brothers. That was my experience with Dark Alliance playing with.
Yeah, Dark Alliance. What a fucking banger.
What a good game.
That was the first game that I started to appreciate animations of barrels being broken. And I used to break every single barrel in that game.
Eye for detail.
So satisfying.
The only thing I remember playing those games, because not just that, it was also a D&D one. It was D&D Heroes. That was another one that was very similar to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. And just a lot of fighting, though, was caused by that game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, all good. Another benefit for the couch co-op is because of, obviously, particularly PoE 1, PoE 2 at the beginning is going to be scaled back in terms of like how big and, well, not how big in terms of like actual amount of content, but how big it is in terms of the size of the systems and the quantity of systems. So it's going to be
like
a good...
the skill trees?
The skill tree's still fucking huge. No, they did show it. It's still gargantuan, but they've made systems and put systems in place that are going to be a far more new player friendly. Plus, there's just going to be less systems initially, because the reason PoE 1 is so huge is because it's been around for 10 years and they're adding new shit every quarter. So we're starting from zero again, as it were, kind of thing. It's year one, so it's going to have far less content in terms of systems. But also, when you're playing couch co-op, you're going to have someone who's going to be there with cross-platform progression, cross-progression, all of that. So someone who's experienced with the game can actually be like, hi, I'm teaching you the game right beside you, which is going to be very easy and make the onboarding process of new players like a lot easier as well. I'm quite confident with PoE 2. I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks stunning. It looks like it's going to be so much fun to play, and it's going to be a good refresh of the action RPG genre. It's not just clicking on everything. The WASD is going to be in it and stuff like that. So it's looking like it's going to be a really top tier game, and it's going into beta access late 2024, so later this year.
I haven't played an ARPG since Diablo 3. All my information and knowledge of those games comes from you. So all I know is Diablo 4 is shit, and Path of Exile 2 is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Diablo 4, understand too.
Diablo 4 isn't shit. Diablo 4 is a good game. It's a bad live service game, is the way I would put it. It's getting better as a live service game. But if you play Diablo 4 and you just go through the campaign and sink 100 hours into it, you'll have a good 100 hours. But if you play beyond that, you'll be bored out of your mind because you've done everything there is to be done in the game. But yeah, PoE 2 is going to be... It's a sandbox. You do what the fuck you want, and you will always have the opportunity to explore new things every time you log in. So that's the meme, login dude. But yeah, the next one was Silent Hill 2. Now, prior to the...
I'm actually stoked on this one.
Yeah, so prior to us going live, I remarked that the way the trailer was edited in the state of play kind of made it look a little bit jank. I was then watching Catlink live react to like the 40-minute video, which is this is part of, like this 30-minute video that's on screen, which makes it look far better and presents it in a way better light. It's not got janky editing. We just see straight up gameplay, like minutes of gameplay as well. Again, I'm probably not going to play it, but I will likely watch someone play it, probably Pulp, actually.
I'm going to play it for sure.
Yeah. I would say the animations still look a bit stiff. I can't tell if that's them being bad at animations or if that's them going, well, it's Silent Hill, so it's going to be stiff.
Can I say something about that? Because the more I thought about it, is that when it comes to the animations, I think a lot of people are expecting these character models to look like Resident Evil.
Yes.
Like the Resident Evil remakes look insanely good. Like the RE engine, perfect.
And PT, I think, is spoiled people as well.
Let's be really real. Like I think what Bloober is doing, like I'm not a big fan of Bloober. I don't have the highest opinion of them. But I am trying to keep an open mind when it comes to this game, because I really do like I'm in the camp of, you know what, there's always the original to go back to if this is shit.
True.
Because that's true. So this is just going to be a newer, fresher experience for new players. And from what I understand is that I haven't seen the 40-minute video. I only just saw the release date trailer. which I think was like a minute and 40 minutes, a minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And
minute and 40.
character,
That's 41 minutes, Bob.
that's 41 minutes. Do math for once, unicorn. But anyway, so the character models are the same as the actors in the movie that's coming out. That's what I understand. And I keep seeing people like harp on, especially Angela's character model, about how she kind of has a chubby face. But I think the one screenshot I've seen getting passed around is not the best screenshot. Like
It's
there's
not.
other scenes with her that look a lot better. Her face doesn't look so round. She's also supposed to be 19.
Yeah.
So, and I think as like, so as people like who are way older than 19 now, she looks fine. She looks 19.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not supposed, like the other actress I think was in her 20s when they the original character model.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I think it looks fine. I am also trying to be kind to and fair to Bloober Team, is that this is not going to be Capcom. They don't have the RE engine. They don't have the same development team as the Resident Evil team does. They probably don't even have the same budget. So they're working with what they have, and I think this is definitely Bloober Team trying their hardest to prove themselves to the Silent Hill fans.
Yeah.
I really don't think they're going in this with ill intentions, and obviously no one's going to be happy at the end. Not everyone's going to be happy at the end of the day, but I want to be fair to this. I think that I do think the character models look pretty decent for the most part.
100%.
I think the only one I kind of had reservations with was Maria. Was that it? And this was like, this is a purely like, shallow one, was it looked like her head was a little too big for her body, and it could be just a poor perspective from the screenshot. So I don't want to be too unfair, but I've seen people get mad about her redesign because she's not wearing the leopard skirt and all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, she looks fine.
It's literally just them D90sing it. Like,
yeah, that was just what people wore in the 90s.
Like,
yeah, that was literally
not only that, did you know that her character model was inspired by Christina Aguilera at the Teen Choice Awards in 1999?
There's also
it's
the
the
fact,
same exact outfit.
if you also go to the original concept art of her outfit is actually very similar to one of the original concept arts. So like there's a version of her like looking all businessy kind of thing with the jacket instead.
The thing is that with Silent Hill fans, like, they're very, very protective of this franchise, especially this game in particular, because that's why I'm sure they're going with this game first instead. Even though I think Silent Hill 1 deserved a remake far more than Silent Hill 2 did. Even though I love Silent Hill 2, but Silent Hill 1 absolutely needs one if there's going to be one that I pick. I think to be fair to Bloober, I think at least on the character model subject, I think they look fine.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm not going in looking like, I'm not expecting RE Engine here. I'm not expecting them to look as good as Capcom. Like, Bloober isn't Capcom. They're not the Resident Evil team. They're doing what they can do with what capabilities they have, and it looks like they're pushing it. And if they deliver a decent experience, a decent remake, hey, not everyone's going to be happy, but you still have your older game that you can go back to. That does not rob the old game of what it was and what it meant to you.
100%.
Lighten up. That's all I feel about that. Just lighten up a little bit.
Yep. 100%.
Let me tell you why the game is shit. Everything I've seen looks pretty cool. It looks pretty Silent Hill and stuff. There are 4 different editions you can buy. There's the game. There's a game with a mask and an extra mask if you're on PlayStation. There's a game with 2 masks. There is an edition where there are 4 masks if you're on PlayStation, and you get to play the game 48 hours early. Either sell me the game and then sell me a version of the game with all the stuff. Okay?
Yeah, that's annoying.
If one of the editions of your game comes out 48 hours earlier, that means your game is released 2 days earlier. That's the release date of your game. Fuck off. You're not giving me early access. That game came out then. Fuck you. What you're doing is people who are spending 60 quid on a fucking game, they can't play it for 2 days after its release date.
Yep.
No, I agree with that.
Also, why are there 4 editions? What is this? A mask?
I don't care about
Digital
that.
art book. That's what I want. I want the deluxe edition with stuff Give me the stuff or give me the game. That you can have 2 editions. Anything more than 2 editions, fuck off. I will not have it. I will not be logical. I will not listen.
Looking at this too, like for a game like this, like I mean, I don't know about anyone else who's interested in this. Like, I don't really want a fucking mask.
No,
I mean, there are
prayer.
definitely people who do. I think the mask thing is kind of egregious with one of them being exclusive to a console.
That's so dumb.
I hate when they do that with cosmetics. Like, if you want to make a game exclusive, then fine, that's your decision. But when you're then dividing and trying to vie for the player base even more by segregating cosmetics and stuff like that into consoles exclusives, that just winds me up.
That means there's 6 editions of this.
The only incentive that
yeah.
I have for this is to get the one that you can get at 48 hours early. That's the only one that incentivizes me. I'm such a basic bitch. I don't need any of these masks. I don't even need the digital soundtrack or digital art book. It's not really like, I'll look at it once and then I don't need it anymore.
The thing is, putting that stuff in your collector's edition, your big ultimate edition, is cool.
Yeah.
You're into the game, you want to know everything about it, you want extras, soundtrack, digital art book, that's really cool. That's what should be in it. Maybe what are they called, season passes or whatever that gives you the DLC, or you buy the game. Fucking chopping it up like this, piss off. Like, who's looking at the 2nd edition of that game and going, I really want that fucking mask.
I was going to move on, but
I agree with that.
I want to point something else out to you, Peachy, that you may not have noticed.
Oh no, am I going to be angry, Brian?
So the standard edition is physical and digital. The standard edition is physical and digital. Only the standard edition has a physical copy. All the other ones is only digital. So the art book is digital only. So it's just JPEGs.
If you buy the standard edition,
you get a physical copy.
If you want a physical copy, you have to get the standard edition, but you're robbed of all.
Yep.
That's stupid.
That is a PlayStation tax right there, isn't it? That is a PlayStation tax. Oh, you want the copy of the game? I don't care, but I understand people want that.
It's not
but you want the whole game as well. 2 versions.
I don't think
that would be $280, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. My stock go up. Where are you going? My stock. Where are you going?
I don't necessarily think it's a PlayStation tax. I suspect it's more on the publisher developer side of things because everything's being moved away from physical. So technically now, it being a smaller market, you're having to pay more for making physical stuff.
No, I get that, but you have to buy it twice.
If you wanted like physical, yeah.
If you want everything, including a physical copy. I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, there's no physical art book either. It's digital, so JPEGs. So you're paying extra for JPEGs. NFTs.
I like a good art book.
I do like a good art book, but if I was going to get an art book, I'd rather it be physical.
Yeah. No, I don't want. If I'm going to get an art book personally, like
or plastic.
I don't want digital shit, dude. Like if I'm gonna get an art book, give me the physical one. Otherwise I don't want it at all because I'm gonna glance through it once.
Print, but
of course
I can see a physical version with everything, and you get a book and
that's
Brian. Why have you done this, Brian?
That's very dumb.
Chaos.
I don't. That's
6 editions, and some people have to buy the game and the ultimate edition. That's just
gotta make that money.
True. How much time
give
have we
me
got?
money.
I am melting my face off.
Right. Sorry, go on.
I know. I just have to go to the bathroom.
Right, fair. Well, do you want to cover any of the remaining topics?
What was
anything here?
So there's Golded is forcing
the
Roblox.
Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica remasters. Wasn't that leaked?
So it was leaked and then confirmed. Not confirmed by
Capcom.
By Capcom, but basically other internal people like, yeah, it's true. And then they've also like done age rating things in various countries. So remasters of Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica, which I think a lot of people are actually really stoked for the latter.
No, I am too. Code Veronica has been, dude. People
I've
have
only
been
played
wanting
that in
a
black and
remake.
white because I had a modded PlayStation and I couldn't get the colors to work.
Rip.
Anyway, no, I know a lot of people are really stoked about Code Veronica because with all these remakes coming out, like all I've been seeing is like, when's Code Veronica coming? So good on you, Capcom. You're listening to the fans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are surprised by that as well because they were very like quiet about Code Veronica, and everyone's like, "Do that one."
I think they were gearing up to it. I think they wanted to just get through like the mains, like at least the first 4.
Yeah.
Speaking of Resident Evil, one of the trailers I watched of the State of Play starts with someone going stars.
Really?
That's just their voice. That's just the Resident Evil man.
What was it? It was one of the dark fantasy games. I know I'm not being very specific because every game is a dark fucking fantasy game now. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was a tree saying it.
No idea. I do not.
It might have been Where
about.
Winds Meet, but it started stars, and I'm like, what? The what?
But isn't that like that's kind of like
Was it
their
Nemesis? Or was it the other
shtick?
one? Who knows?
Nemesis. It was
Was
Nemesis.
it Nemesis? Oh wait, it might have been Nemesis. You're right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But one of those
Exactly,
trailers
I forgot.
is doing a callback to Resident Evil Nemesis, which I thought was cute.
That's fair. That's fair.
Sorry, random.
Was there anything else, or should I just blast through them?
You could blast through that. That was the only one I had an interest in.
Cover the IGN thing because I didn't actually have time to look at this because I just finished stream.
Oh,
Okay, so
God.
the IGN thing is kind of a big deal. IGN have bought numerous of the biggest journalism outlets in the gaming industry. So they have purchased, with me, Eurogamer, GameIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, and VG247. And they also now have shares in Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension. So,
Holy shit! I can't wait for those publications to go downhill.
well, thankfully, the ones they have shares in, they don't have any control of. Digital
Jeez.
Foundry have actually confirmed that. My concern is they're basically Rupert Murdoching like games journalism, which means that
sounds
we're
like it.
probably going to get a lot less investigative journalism, things like that, which
Yeah,
is very
IGN
important
are
for the
a bit
industry.
Shit, aren't they?
They are shit.
I read IGN shit for a long time because I'm like, oh fuck this. Aren't they shit?
Well, IGN are
They're pretty
probably
bad.
the market leader still, but they
Yeah, but I mean for quality and journalistic
Quality-wise,
integrity.
they're bad. No, you're dead on. They're bad.
it depends on like who the author of the article is. Like sometimes they have guest authors, like a lot of them are freelance, so people are coming in and out all the time, and a lot of their shtick is actually like game guides and stuff nowadays because there isn't really a lot of money in games journalism. Like people get paid like $75 an article, which they spend like an entire day on and things like that. So it's not a very lucrative business, and I'm concerned that a lot of these outlets are just going to get shuttered because if you can't beat them, buy them, kind of thing. They've already had a bunch of layoffs and stuff like that. So
They
like
just
the four they've bought,
Takeover. Now there is only Taco Bell.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
Demolition Man.
Like the
But-
four
Yeah.
they've bought are like 4 of the biggest. So like
Yeah,
after
I use
IGN, to be fair.
Eurogamer.
Yeah,
I read that.
yeah. So Eurogamer is going to
Yeah,
fall
I
under
used
the IGN umbrella now. So
Oh,
I'm
I'm going to take my
concerned.
whitelist off Eurogamer.
Sorry, you're going to say something, Paul?
No. I was gonna say I think I use Eurogamer as well.
Yeah. My thoughts are if you see any independent outlets, support them because we need games
Yeah.
journalism because again,
Yeah, we do.
investigative stuff is really important. And IGN taking over the planet and controlling any kind of narrative because of course if they want to push a particular story, they can push it to all of the outlets now that they own, which is all of them. So, you know, it's something you got to be wary of. The only other things was that Riot has updated the harassment policy. I think this is a huge win. Basically, they had the director for Valorant record a video. This is probably off the back of like the whole thing that
Vanguard.
no, there was some,
Kernel level anti-cheat stuff.
that's kind of involved, but what blew up is someone was basically like insulted in a way that involved sexual assault, and it blew up on Twitter. And after that, Riot have since come out and said, okay, we're going to do some process changes and things like that. So if you are someone who's particularly vile on Valorant, you could end up with a hardware ban. They are going to be using, well, they're already using tech that basically uses AI to recognize voices in multiple languages and toxic language. And apparently that's filtering out a lot of the bad actors, and the ones that do get caught by the system tend to be one-time offenders. So that's been reducing how much harassment there's been online in Valorant, like quite massively. They're going to be investing a lot more into having like real person moderators as well for the more severe cases. And like I said,
that'll be beneficial.
Yeah, I think it's huge, and I hope it's something that
good.
the wider industry adopts, because I think toxicity, like the TLDR is, just because there's a mute option doesn't mean you can be a cunt. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like, it's always used an excuse like, oh, just mute them.
No,
it's
that's just mute them. Yeah,
like that's a horrible like.
I mean, that's
argument.
good. No, well, yeah, it's a coping mechanism. Like, just go like, hey, you want to hear? It's like, dude, like, because I don't know, I don't play Valorant, but as a chick, I don't play games like that in general. It's I'm not in the mood.
Stay out of male faces.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, there's an option. If I want to play it, I will mute it, but it's like that shouldn't be the requirement if I want to enjoy my experience.
This is not just to the benefit of users, just to users, but for Riot, like the new player, like onboarding for something like League is horrific. Everyone is fucking horrible.
True.
And I've been playing since season 4, and I can't stand the fucking user base. I mostly play ARAM because it's just horrible.
I mean, I could just tell you from like, I just don't even bother with games like that. I have zero interest whatsoever, and it primarily has to do with the user base. I don't want to engage with them whatsoever. And
like I said, and
it sucks because it could be a fun experience, but I won't ever know, because it's just because of how shit the users are.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think Riot are very cognizant of that, especially with the latest outcry.
I'm glad Riot's taking it seriously, because I won't, like, even if there's improved moderation, I probably still wouldn't even fucking bother. But there are a lot of people who are having their experiences completely ruined because of just how toxic the community is.
It is
so if they take it
impossible as a new player when you've got, because people have been playing this for a while. Even Valorant hasn't been out that long, but people know how to play it. And the second you don't know what you're doing, it is something about all Riot games. I don't know what it is, that it is just instant slurs of just toxic behavior.
I would say it's free-to-play games, which Riot obviously specialize in, because there's no barrier to entry, so you've got a wider net of people, and of course, if you get caught, you just make a new account. Whereas now, hardware bans, if you're really like a psychopath that's threatening the R word, try not to get like demonetized on YouTube, so that's why I'm not saying it. But yeah, like things like that.
What Brian is trying to say is,
yes, sure.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
All good. The last two things was Call of Duty Black Ops 6 hits Game Pass day 1, which I think is actually a surprise to a lot of people. I wasn't surprised, because they actually said they were going to bring all the games.
They said they were going to do it. Why would they not do it day 1, right?
Yeah.
But then a lot of people are like, oh, but they're going to lose lots of revenue. I do think it's a gamble. No. I'll say that.
They're going to get so many people subscribes on that service, and people are just going to try it because it doesn't cost them 60 quid to try COD. Yeah,
100%. It's easily one of the best-selling games regularly each year. One definitely like in the top 10. It's definitely a gamble. I think it's going to hopefully help Game Pass grow? Question mark. Like, who knows? Who knows?
Grow. Things can just earn a profit. They don't have to double every fucking millisecond. They don't have to do that. Late stage capitalism is a sickness.
I agree. I was just speaking hypothetically as a stakeholder there, because that's obviously the intent, to have it grow, as opposed to what they're doing now, making profit anyway. But we'll see. It's something that I'll be keeping an eye on, just to see how it affects the industry and things like that. So who knows? The last thing is Guilded. So for those not familiar, Guilded is a comms app that is similar to Discord. It does everything that Discord does, plus a whole host of other features completely and utterly for free. And it's
Gilded. I remember what that is now.
yeah, so it's actually a service I use, and I'm a Gilded partner. I might not be in a week's time because as of yesterday, they have implemented a feature, I'll say with air quotes, that you now, if you make a new account and then eventually OG accounts by the 15th of July, will also have to link these up to a Roblox account. So you have to make a Roblox account in order to use the Gilded app now. Yeah, lots of people weren't cool with that in the partner Discord. Not Discord, sorry, partner server. Lots of people, myself included, piped up and said, "This is a
Gilded has a partner Discord."
It does, yeah. But a lot of people are kicking off because obviously they're very aware of the fact that the vast majority of people who are adults and pre-acquisition of Gilded by Roblox are not involved with Roblox whatsoever. There's obviously a lot of people who are adults who don't know what the fuck Roblox is, and then they're gonna go, oh yeah, I'll join your Gilded server. I have to make an account on Roblox. What the fuck is Roblox? Why would I want to make an account for this child's game? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Making it more difficult to win people over onto the Gilded platform. And there's the fact that those who are involved with Roblox are very aware of the fact that it's filled with bots and all sorts of other shit, and like a lot of the things that they're citing are going to be benefits from doing this account linking are just not valid arguments. That all the technical stuff is just like, yeah, you can do that without linking it to Roblox, to be honest. And yeah,
They've given up.
I don't think they've given up. They were bought by Roblox back in 2021.
I mean, okay, yeah, but like Roblox aren't even trying. They've given up anything approaching, because Gilded before was like, this is an alternative to Discord with a lot of upsides.
I think
probably the only downside is the user base. That was the only thing. This is them going, fuck it. This is just for Roblox now.
I think based on the conversations we've had with the staff at, like, because of this, I don't think they want to make it a Roblox app. I think they want lots of Roblox integration because it is now popular amongst the Roblox community because of the natural links and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think in doing this, they're basically Sony helldiving it. And they're just going to get loads of people, all the people who were OGs, people who were brought on board prior to this, are just going to go, I want nothing to do with Roblox. I don't want to have anything to do with Roblox. I don't like Roblox, and I'm saying this as a partner of the company that is owned by Roblox. You know what I mean? I'm very aware of the fact that there's a lot of controversy surrounding Roblox. But I was okay, I again say with air quotes, with the acquisition, because Roblox have a lot of fucking money and they could invest that in this otherwise independent company who actually, as part of their statement when getting acquired by Roblox, were like, yeah, we're still independent. So people kind of like, oh, not keen on Roblox, but we'll let it slide. 3 years later, this new like requirement to set up an account, and yeah, it's basically pissed off a lot of people. So I've personally said to them, I was like, I want you to reverse this decision. If you don't reverse it in a week, I will be going back to Discord. And that's pretty much the statement that a lot of people have made with within the partner server. Most people have, a lot of people have already shut down their servers and have just said, yep, nope, you just ruined everything, goodbye. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I imagine that they are about to lose everyone that isn't involved with Roblox, though, unfortunately. But that's it.
Yeah, it's hard enough to get people to be on there anyway.
Yeah, like having to go, hi, this is an objectively better app, but there's more people on the one that you've already got on your computer. I get it. Do you want to join this one anyway? That was difficult. And now when they go, okay, you know what, sure, I'll do it. They then come across this other roadblock. Hey. And then they're going to go, oh, I don't want to make a Roblox account because fuck Roblox. And I'm going to be like, yeah, that's fair. You know what? Cool. So I think it's going to really stifle the growth of non-Roblox based communities.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
probably. It's just the Roblox communication app now.
Yeah. So sad news, because I really liked that app as well. It's so good. It has so many cool features and it's all free. But it is what it is. But that's going to be it for this episode. So let's do some shout outs. Pulp.
Hi, I'm Pulp Fictionally, former Instagram model turned variety streamer. You can find me on all my social media under Pulp Fictionally, except for Twitter because someone stole my name. I've been streaming every day the past week or so, and I'm trying to make a goal to play through all the Souls games, including Demon Souls and potentially Armored Core, leading up to the Elden Ring DLC. So I'll be live every day during June, around 5:30 my time, Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We've been having a lot of fun. Peachy.
Hi. Yeah. Elephant in the room is actually a unicorn. It's unicorn week.
Nice horn.
I like your horn. It's a good color on you.
Unicorn Week continues tomorrow over on twitch.tv/Peachy Pixel 8. Thanks to everyone who made this happen during a podcast week. You know, my co-host here could have thrown me a bone and been like, look, we don't really want this for our serious gaming industry podcast. And I'd be like, I understand.
My name is Brian the Pirate, and thank you for joining us. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, come watch me. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching the podcast. Go check out the Patreon. The Patreon. Go check out the Patreon and smash like on the video. And yeah, hope to see you again soon.
My name is actually Brian the Pirate. Thank you to my co-host, as always. Thank you to Peachy for wearing his unicorn onesie. He looked majestic, and he is sweating his knackers off. So I do very much appreciate that. If you wish to find me, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, all under Brian the Pirate. I highly recommend that you check out the YouTube channel for the Fully Rendered podcast if you're never able to catch it live. It is under Fully Rendered. You can also follow us on Twitter. And we have a Patreon, which is also under Fully Rendered. The Twitter is Fully Rendered TV, by the way, just so you know. That's going to be it from all of us. Thank you all once again. We will see you in around about 2 weeks. Farewell. We'll remember you.
I won't.
Bye.